Hey guys, and welcome to another episode of Drama Flavored Coffee. This story comes from the subreddit Relationship Advice from user AppleCider2608. My 20 female boyfriend, 22 male, doesn't want to be with me on New Year's Eve because he thinks I'm too shy to meet his friends. We've been dating for a good 2 years now, and while we've had our problems, I thought we were doing really good as a couple right now. However, he is very outgoing and open, while I have trouble opening up around strangers and am generally more shy. We don't really share a friend group, but he knows my friends, while I've never met his friends. Only his best friend, who has made it really clear he doesn't like me because he thinks of me as too calm. I've mentioned how I would like to meet his friends, especially his female best friend, but he's never made an effort to take me to meet them or her at all, while all the other guys in the group have already introduced their girlfriends, and some even bring theirs along regularly. When I asked him whether he could ask the friend hosting this year's New Year's Eve party if I could come along, he just said no. He tried to change the topic, but I was pretty bummed and asked him whether he really does not want me to tag along. And he just said that yes, he does not want me there. When I asked him to explain, he just said that I was too shy and wouldn't feel comfortable around them anyways. I was feeling sad and told him I'd really like to spend the evening with him, but that didn't change anything. He just pointed out, in an annoyed manner, how I was probably mad about it, but I shouldn't be, as it was best for me. When the topic of the New Year's kiss came up, he joked about just kissing his girl best friend. I'm not sure if I'm overreacting, but I'm pretty sad. Okay, so personal opinion here. So this topic hits a little close to home for me because I'm 39 years old, but I'm a shy person. I have been my entire life since I was a little kid. And I always thought of it as a flaw. Well, I wasn't until I became an adult. I thought it was a flaw, and I hated it. I always wanted to be one of those girls who could just walk into a room and just have a conversation with anyone, but I was never like that. It always took me a while to warm up to people, and even then, I was only comfortable in smaller groups. I hated large groups. I hated being the center of attention. That's just how I was. And there are some people who are just not comfortable with that. And I was made to feel self-conscious and uncomfortable about it, about myself. And it really affected my self-esteem a lot. And it wasn't until I met my husband that I really started to accept who I was and accept my shyness. And it no longer became a flaw. It was just part of my personality. And I learned to not only accept it, but to really love that part of me. My husband's not an outgoing guy, but he's also not a shy person. He has a great balance. Never, not once in the 16 years that we've been together, has he ever made me feel bad about being shy and quiet. And if he ever did have a problem with it, I would never know because he's never made me feel self conscious about myself. We've pretty much been attached to the hip since we met 16 years ago. And for the most part, every single party, dinner, whatever it was, we've gone together. And it's funny because I think within the first couple of weeks of us meeting, he was invited to a wedding before we even met. And he asked me to go with him. And we had only known each other for a couple of weeks. And I think by then he already RSVP'd as he was going alone. So I told him that it was okay. I'll see him the day after. But the fact that he wanted me to go with him um, when we just met says a lot about him and how much he liked me. Because you got to remember, if a guy wants to, he would. I mean, at that point, we didn't know each other long, and he wanted to introduce me to everyone in his life. I mean, he wanted to, so he did. And he never used my shyness as any kind of excuse to not spend time with me or not introduce me to his friends and family. Through his actions, he showed me that being shy wasn't a flaw, it was just part of who I am. And there are people who even now take my shyness as rudeness. Even if they don't say it, I can feel the vibe that they're uncomfortable with how shy and quiet I am. But I've learned to accept their non acceptance of my personality and just brush it off and say that's really their problem. It's not my problem. But I think you need to dump the boyfriend because he doesn't sound like a good guy. He doesn't sound like he's taking your feelings into account. He sounds very selfish. Definitely don't brush it off as you overreacting. Don't make excuses for the guy. You deserve the kind of boyfriend like my husband, who will just accept you as you are and be proud of you and to show you off to his friends and family and say, wow, this is my girl and I love her and she's amazing. And yes, she's shy, but that's just part of her amazing personality. And his friends sound like assholes too. My husband's friends, and he has a lot of friends, none of them, as far as I know, none of them have ever made me feel bad about being shy and quiet. So you just got to find your people, the people who will love and accept you for who you are. And trust me, you'll even find outgoing people who will love your shyness. My sister in law is extremely outgoing and she's very chatty and talkative. And we'll have or our conversations are she'll talk for like 3 hours and I'll say 10 sentences the whole time. But that works for us. She doesn't mind. I don't mind. She's a talker and I'm a listener. So you will find your people. It might take some time, but they are out there and don't settle for less than what you deserve. Now let's go to the comments. Sexy My Official says, my advice, reevaluate your relationship with this person. He sounds like he's embarrassed of you. I would only want to introduce a guy to my friends if we were engaged, so I can understand not introducing my partner to my friends. This is something I'd explain very early on while we were dating. I wouldn't wait until we've been together for 2 years before I let my partner know. Your boyfriend's reasoning is odd. So what if you're not as outgoing as them? You don't need to be their friends, and they don't even have to like you. It's just one night where you can meet his friends, kiss at midnight, and that's it. It sounds like the one friend you did meet didn't like you and talks shit about you to the other friends. They probably already don't like you, and your boyfriend is more concerned with their opinions. And if his best friend said he didn't like you because you're too calm, and he told this to them, this is an indicator of how the rest of the friend group is. I agree. The friend group sounds like trash. Ian Kill says, what kind of person doesn't like someone for being too calm? Some sort of lunatic? I'm a calm person too, and if someone didn't like me because of that, I would say that says a lot more about them than it does you. Him joking about kissing another girl on New Year's Eve while leaving you alone is a huge red flag. Actually, him wanting to go to a party and leaving you alone is all a huge red flag. You shouldn't be sad. You should be fucking mad. This guy sounds like he has issues, and so does his friend group. Keeping you out because it's what's best for you sounds like he's hiding something. Could be anything really. Like they could be using hard drugs or something, and he doesn't want you to see that side of him. I say hard drugs because those are generally the only people who don't like people who are too calm. And you would definitely be uncomfortable around them if that's what they do. Your boyfriend is shady as fuck. Yeah, I agree. The boyfriend is just one huge walking red flag. And he's taking advantage of your calmness. He's mistaking calmness with weakness. And don't be weak. Don't let him take advantage of you. Show him that you deserve more than what he's giving you. And just dump his ass. Well, that's it for today's episode. Please drop a like and subscribe to see new content. See you next time.